Hello, you guys. Welcome to our Chit Chat Cafe. I know it's just me alone. They left me alone since I left them without me. The last 2 episodes, I think. I don't know. You can go back and watch where I wasn't here and they made me come on by myself. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyways, welcome. Thank you so much for those who are watching, and thanks for those who have been watching us since the beginning. So, I don't know if you guys watched the last episode where it was just me and Monica. We introduced the month of May, and we're going to be talking about moms and all the good stuff that comes with mamas, because we are that good, that we deserve a whole month to talk about you mothers and me mothers and us our mothers. Anyway, so just want to go off my week. It was an amazing week. It's been pretty slow but busy and exciting week. I did have a birthday, and so I'm excited. I'm not excited I'm a year older, but I'm excited that it is thus far a good year. And today I am drinking an iced caramel macchiato with oat milk. So today we're gonna talk about my lovely mother that I love and adore so much, just because we're, it is the month of Mother's Day, of mothers. So anyway, mothers are like flowers, roses. If you know my mother's name, you already know why I said that. Anyway, I was thinking about this episode and just thought, like, what kind of mother I have, and I feel like everyone definitely thinks that their mother is special because they have done so much, they've gone through so much. And I can just kind of look back at who my mother is to me. Gosh, I just see her as a superhero. And honestly, she has definitely been through so much, and in her entire life, she married young. I believe she was 14 years old when she got married. So she was just a child. And I just look back and I'm just like, wow. Like, I cannot believe, just looking back and thinking, like, at 14, I'm getting married. And just thinking, like, wow, she grew up so quickly. But anyway, she had a very tough childhood. I want to say she is, I don't know, she has like 10 siblings, maybe 11, 10 or 11. I don't know, but having to live with so many siblings, like, I can just imagine. I have 3 older brothers, and living with 3 older brothers is hell. I described it. I love them so much, but boys are crazy. And just thinking back on my childhood with 3 older brothers was definitely hell. I'm sorry, but I love them. I love them so much. But I can just imagine my mom with like, I think she might be number 7. I don't know. But it's a lot of dang kids. It's a lot of dang kids. And I'm just like, gosh, I barely survived living with 3 older brothers. I'm surviving living with 3 other children that are my own, of course. Um, and so like I know that my mom's childhood was tough, especially she is from Mexico, and the life out there is pretty tough. Like I think about it and I'm just like, well, I understand why maybe she married young. Like she was trying to get out of, or whatever situations they had, or um that's la vida de rancho. It's like you live in Mexico, you live on a farm, on a ranch, and pretty much that's all you have to do, or you had to do during her times. Like that's all you knew. It's go to school for a bit if you had the means to, um, grow up, get married. If you're a wife, I mean, if you're a girl, you become a wife. If you're a man, you work. But that's pretty much all that they had is like, get married, have kids, and that's what you do. And so, I know that she had a tough childhood. So she married at age 14. She had my oldest brother at age 15. They were still living in Mexico. My dad was a traveling farmer, or I don't know what they call him. And so then he worked the fields out in Mexico, and then he came into the United States, and he made a living here, and he went back, I don't know, 2 years later. My mom was pregnant again. She had my second brother, and the same thing happened. It was just like she was a mom of one kid, pregnant, with the second on the way, and her husband was on the other side of the country. Like, I just think I'm just like, that's so hard. That's so hard for someone to do. And then it happened a third time. My dad went back. He came back over here. He worked for a few other years, and then he went back and got my mama pregnant again. And now she has 2 kids and pregnant. And so then my dad finally came back over here, and she had 3 kids. Basically a single mother in a whole other country, just waiting for someone, my not someone, but my dad to send her money to survive off of, and to feed 3 little mouths. And so there's so many other things that she kind of went through with her family and her siblings. I know that she loves him, but I'm pretty sure that she went through hell with them as well. Um, but I just think, and I'm like, all these stories that she tells me, and I'm just like, wow, just, you're such a strong woman. And now I know where I get it from. Like, she raised 3 whole kids on her own. My dad was there temporarily, but he was in a whole other country working to provide for his, family. And then finally, she brought my mom over, or he brought my mom over into the United States with 3 whole children, and it was tough because my mom had no family here. My dad had siblings here in the United States, but my mom had no one. She left her, and her entire family, her siblings, her mom, her dad, in Mexico, and she came with 3 whole children, into the United States with not knowing like if she's ever going to see them again. And that for me just does it. Like it just breaks my heart. It just makes me like I don't think I could ever do that. I lived in a whole other city, like an hour away, and it was so hard. Can't imagine like hours and thousands of miles away from my family and not knowing, from my mom and dad and not knowing if I'm ever going to see them again. And so I just tell her, man, you're tough for doing that. And she went years without seeing her parents until finally um, she became legal to be, a U.S. resident, and they were finally able to go back to see. But I know it was years without her seeing her parents, and so I know that right there was something tough to do. Um, you know, when you're in a whole other country with three kids and a husband and you have no one, absolutely no one to go to run to for nothing. And then after that, she had me, little me. um, and so I know that she has, that right there, just living in a whole other country, with all her children's making, her children making a living, my dad working, and then, after I know that after she had me, she had to go back to work, or she had to go work for a while, and just leaving her kids with absolute strangers was also hard for her. But then those strangers became like really close friends, and more like family to us, and were there, to help babysit and take care and look after us. um so my mom has 5 children. I don't know why. I'm just like, gosh, you're a tough lady. I stopped at 3 and I was done. But I feel like she has definitely gone through so much. She lost her parents both almost back to back, maybe a couple of years, and she, was living here and traveled out there to Mexico to be with them during their last, um, I guess, few months of life, because I know she was out there for a couple of months before they passed. But just having like her having to do all that, just I don't know. When my dad passed away, of course I was living out an hour away, and I had to come here because my mom had just lost her brother um the month before my dad passed. So she had to travel to Mexico to be with her family, and we took care of my dad for that entire month. I want to say, I can't remember. But that, it was hard just living in a different city, a whole, hour away. And I just like going back to her and how tough that must have been for her, living in a whole other country and being away from your family to be with your, dying parents. Um, she's definitely been through a lot. And I feel like as much as she's been through a lot, she still remains. She's still standing. She's still like a tough cookie. I don't know how to describe it. And it just goes back to like knowing how people have done her and how people have taken advantage and how tough life has been with her, and all this stuff that my dad kind of put her through. I'm just like, ooh, girl, no, I would have done left a long time ago. But she did it again for us, for her kids. And now I'm like, I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't do it for my kids, and I haven't. But going back to her and how selfless, she's so selfless, she's so loving, she's so caring, and she's so humble, to the point where sometimes it make not humble, it doesn't make me mad that she's humble. I love that she's so humble. Like, she can have so much money, she can have everything that she wants, she can provide for herself, but she decides to give people everything that she has, even if it means her having nothing. And sometimes it just makes me so mad that I'm like, why are you doing that? Why are you giving these people that have stolen from you, that have talked about you, that have said this and so many mean things? And she's like, that you just have to show them that that you're not the way. And I'm like, no, like, I don't do that. I will do it 1, 2, 3 times maybe, but after that I'm done. But she will continuously, and she reminds me of, like, the Proverbs 31 woman. Like, she has worked day and night, and she used to sew. She loves to sew. That's something that I guess, that she told me, like, that's something I went to school for. I guess, like, sewing and all this stuff. So she had her own sewing machine, and she worked so hard to get it when she was in Mexico. And that's what she did. She made, like, clothing and, like, all this stuff, from what she tells me. So she honestly, like, made their clothes, or like skirts and like shirts and all this stuff. And so it just kind of reminds me of what, she woke up super early to do stuff for her family, for her sisters, and they didn't see that. And I feel like they took advantage of that she was so selfless, and that she would make stuff and give it away, or she'd work so hard, and she'd just, like, people just knew, like, okay, I need this, I want this, can you give it to me? And she would just, she'll literally take off her her shirt off her back and give it, you know to people. And sometimes I'm just like, Mom, you can't let them do that to you. Like, you can't let them take advantage of that. But she's like, that's just who I am, and I'm going to continue to provide. And even she's helped us out, like her kids, so much. Like, if she sees me, let's say, struggling, or if I tell her, just, Mom, I don't have enough for this, or the kids want this, but I'm not going to buy it for them because I don't have it, or I can't provide for it right now. She'll literally go dig out some money, change, or whatever to provide. And I'm like, they don't need it. It's not something they need. It's something they want. But she's going to give it to them. And that's how selfless and, that she is. And I'm just like, I wish I can be half of the woman that you are, and the strength that she has to continue, like, back to back in a year. She lost her brother at the beginning of the year. Exactly a month after she lost her brother, she lost the love of her life. My dad. And they were together for, I don't know how many years. But since she was 14, it was her first, maybe boyfriend, I think. I don't know. I know not gonna put her out there. But she was 14 when she got married, so it should have probably been her. It would have probably been her first boyfriend, I'm going to assume. But anyway, she married at age of 14 and she stuck with him. And I know for a fact that she went through so much with my dad that I'm just like, I'm not willing to put in that work. And I'm not going to. And I didn't, you know. But anyway, she lost my dad a whole month, exactly a month after she lost her brother. And then exactly 9 months later, we lost my aunt, which was like a grandmother to me. She was nothing to my mom, but she took her in. She took my mom in when they, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, when they came here into the United States. So it was my dad's brother's wife. So that makes her my aunt. So basically, she was her sister-in-law, kind of. Yeah, her sister-in-law because of my uncle. Um, but she was like her second mom. She was like her mom here. So she lost her like second mom in exactly 9 months from when she lost my dad. And so I was just like, I was going crazy just when I lost my dad. And I can't imagine to feel like I lost my brother, I lost my husband, I lost my second mom. Like that was tough, and still to see her build the courage to still continue to move on with life, to not move on, but well, yeah, I guess to kind of just continue to move forward from everything. I'm just like, you're tough. She's working, providing for herself, and she still does everything for herself. Like, she doesn't expect us to do anything for her. We tell her, hey, let us do this, let us help you, and she's like, no, like, I'm okay, like, I got it. We want to help her, like, carry her stuff, and she's like, I got it. And so I'm just like, you know what? We we don't want to enable her um from doing the things that she can still do. And this is what she says. Don't keep me from doing the things that I like and that I want to do and that I can do, like carrying my own stuff, doing my own laundry. Like I want to do it. Like if I can clean, I can cook, I can still do everything. Like let me do it. And I seen like when we do it for her, she feels like she's no good, like no use. And she says that, and I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like you can do your own stuff. You can go to work. You can, carry your own laundry if you want. And because that just makes her feel like she's still, I don't know, like she's still being used. I don't know. I can't say that. Not we're not using her, but anyway, like she's still useful. Like she can still do for her own. And so she feels more free, like, and happy, versus if we don't let her do anything, she just wants to sleep, and she wants to be like, depression will kind of come in or kind of creep in. But anyway, she is just such, I'm going to keep saying it, such a strong woman. She's happy, she's healthy. Um at her age, um I feel like she's gone through so much, and she's still standing. She's still doing for herself and providing for herself. Another thing that I want to talk about her that makes her so special, um, to me, I feel like I don't want to sound I don't want to sound like it's just because of that. No, to me, she's special because when my oldest daughter was born, she stopped working. She stopped working to help provide, and because she wanted to stay home to take care of my daughter. And I feel like that was very special, and it would be hard for me to do. If I had a grandkid, I would be like, nope. Oh my gosh. I would be like, nope, you had your kids, you take care of them. And sometimes she'll say that, like, or not right now because I take care of my own kids. My schedule allows it. Uh, it's so funny. But she usually would tell me that if I was gonna go party or something because I was a single mother with my oldest for quite some time. And if I told her to watch my kid, she'd be like, "No, yeah, tú querías hijos, tú cuídalos." Like you wanted kids, you take care of them. But anyway, she like that was special to me, and it made me feel special that my kid was special enough to her to stay home to take care of her. And this is exactly what she said. And she's so funny. But she said, like, oh, you can go work. I'll stay home to take care of her. I don't want you putting her in a daycare or having anyone else take care of my grandkids or of my granddaughter. Why? Because she said this in Spanish. Si alguien más se los va a mejor me los yo. Which means like if someone else is gonna hit them, I rather hit them. I rather be the one to hit them. Uh, and so I just laughed. But she wanted to, and even my dad had agreed. I believe my dad had agreed for her to be able to stay home to take care of my daughter. And so she honestly did. She stayed home, and even after, gosh, many years, like I became, I divorced, and they came to move in with me uh, to help take care of my daughter because she had, I believe, gone back to work for a little bit. No, I'm not gonna go back to the timeline, but anyway, she had been there taking care of my daughter, and then my other siblings had kids as well, and so they obviously went to be taken care, so that my mom can take care of them. And so she said it just felt like she had all of us back home again as little babies. And I feel like that to me was very special, like that she got to, and still has the opportunity to be there for her grandkids. And she loves, I don't know, maybe I do. I was going to say, maybe I don't know what grandparents don't want their to spend time with their grandkids, but I do. I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say anything. But my grandma was one of them. She was there, but she was grouchy. She was always mean and grouchy. But anyway, so yeah, we're going back to, that's one of the reasons why I feel like my mom is so special to me, and one of those special moments that I can remember that made me feel special, like wow, like someone would do that for my kid. I don't think so. Ask me whenever I'm a grandparent, which I hope it's not anytime soon. And going down the line to a favorite, I have so many memories to share with you guys about my mom. And it's always sad moments. Not sad moments, but it's just like that. I don't even know how to say it, but it's like a moment where I think back and I'm like, gosh, I hope it's not soon, but when mom passes, like, these are the things that I'm gonna miss. Or these are the things that I'm just gonna always remember and have in my memory. Because going back to when my dad passed away, it's like so many things that he did and so many things that I'm like, he was so funny and that are in my memory, and that it's just something that I can go back and remember. But my mom always has a thing where like she's a believer. We all, we all are believers. She goes to church. And so if we laugh about anything that like has to do with church, and not making fun of people that go to church, because I go to church. But anything that we say that's, and she's like trying to be serious about it, she always smirks. She always like, she's like serious, and she says like, con eso no se juega, like, you don't play with that, you don't play with that, like, don't say stuff like that. And so like she would come to me and tell me like, give me flowers or bring me a rose, like so random. She'll come with like flowers and she'll give them to me, and she's like, estas son de parte de Jesús, or like, these are from Jesus. And so it was so random because she would say it in Spanish, like, estas son de parte de Jesús. And and there was times where I was like, ¿cuál Jesús? Like, what Jesus, like, what Jesus? And she like look at me, and she'd look at me so mad, like mad, and she's like, con eso no se juega. And I'm like, I'm not, I'm not joking, like, I'm not playing, like, which Jesus? And she's like, they're from Jesus, from God. And I'm like, oh. And so anytime, like, that time I was being serious. But anytime like it has anything to do with stuff like that, we're like, is it a joke? Like, or, and she always tells us like, con eso no se juega, you don't play with that. Um, and then there's other times when she tries to get onto us, she always kind of laughs, and we don't know if she's being serious or she's being like funny. And then at the end, it just turns out to be funny to us because we start laughing, and then she's serious, and then she starts laughing. And then she does this, like, she tries to punch us, and she goes like, she does this literally to our stomach, like, or to our arm or whatever. And we laugh because we're like, that didn't hurt. And why? That's not how you punch. Why would you put your thumb up? Like, are you giving us a thumbs up, or are you trying to hit us? And she's like, shut up. Shut up. And we just start, laughing, and she starts laughing. But there's so many memories that I'm just like, gosh, I'm going to miss that, because of course we all know that we don't live an eternal life here on earth. So I just, thinking about this episode today, I was just like, just kind of going down. I'm trying not to be emotional, but just going down memory lane, and thinking back, like, all the things that she went through. And I don't want to be specific about it, but a lot of Hispanic, I feel like a lot of Hispanic parents have gone through so much, living in a home of 10 plus kids. They don't have, you know 10 plus kids in another country where the mom is the mom, a stay at home wife, has to raise these many kids, and the dad is away, you know, working the fields from sun up to sundown. And a lot of the older kids are in charge of like the younger ones, while their mom does laundry, while the mom cooks, while the mom cleans. The older siblings are pretty much helping raise the younger siblings. And me living with three older brothers, I was tortured. Not really. But it was hard, because they needed an extra football player. Who was there? Me. They were bored. Who was a punching bag? Me. And I'm like, these these boys are crazy with me. And both my parents are there sometimes. I can't imagine having 7 older siblings, that are looking after them. And she tells the stories as like how one of them would pull their hair, or they'd get in trouble and they'd have like pigtails, and they'd pull them by their hair and drag them, and I'm just like, how could they do that? And she's like, yeah. Or they would hide their shoes, or just crazy stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know how I survived with these 3 guys. And there was only one of them that would always, every day, was a beast with me. Like, he would hit me every day, making me cry every day. But anyway, so I'm like, you had 4 older brothers? And she's like, they would be so mean to us, and like pull us by our pigtails, and hide our stuff. And even like, just her telling me that there would go days where they only had like beans to eat and tortillas to eat, and they had to feed like 10 mouths, plus my grandpa, her dad, and her mom, and they would fight over food. So there was times where one of the older kids would take the younger kids' foods, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy, that's so tough. But I just can't imagine living in a whole other country where, you know, you have so many mouths to feed, and older brothers, older sisters that look after you as good as they can, because they're children themselves. Um, and sometimes, like, she's told me stories where sometimes some of them would take advantage and just like molest them, or just be so ugly to them. I don't want to get too into detail, but I'm just like, our parents definitely went through a lot. And she says, of course, being a woman, it's the worst. In a whole other country where you just have to shut your mouth and say nothing, or because you're not worthless, but you're only seen as a woman. Like, you just do what you gotta do, have kids, and be a wife, and that's it. And so they definitely go through stuff. And my mom was one that the stories that she tells me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, no wonder that you got married so young, because of the life that they lived, and that she lived with all her siblings. Not that they were really bad to her or anything, but this is the life that this some of the things that she went through. But I absolutely love and look up to my mother. Like, I always tell her, no me canso de decirle que, like, gran mujer is. Like, she's such an amazing woman. She's so strong. She's so courageous. She's so tough to move, leave her country with 3 children, leave her mom and her dad to be with her husband and create a whole new family in a whole different world. And I'm like, I couldn't do that. It's a whole different world for her, but, I was like, I couldn't ever do that. And I always say, like, I hope and I pray that I am half of the woman that she is, and I grow up to be like her, because she's such a loving, caring, selfless, and very humble woman. Like, the humblest but of course she's my mom. There's so many other women that I look up to, that are mothers, that I see, and I'm just like, oh gosh, like, I wish I can get bits and pieces from every single one of them and create an amazing woman. But that amazing woman is my mom. That amazing woman is you. That amazing woman is your daughter, whoever. Just be amazing, as good as you can, and don't give up. You guys, that is everything I have for you today. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Continue to be the strong woman that you are. We love you. You are cared for. And continue to watch on our Chit Chat Cafe on gosh, I cannot speak. Our podcast on iTunes. You can go like, follow, and subscribe on YouTube, watch, and our Instagram. We have a link tree of all the platforms that you can go watch or listen. You guys, thank you so much. We love you guys. Hasta la next chit chat.